Like, comment, subscribe.
And ring the bell.
Don't be moving, woman.
Huh?
Don't move. You'll screw up the light.
Oh, I
Took us 20 minutes to set this freaking angle up. All right, this is a video I wanted to do. This video is basically why we've quit Prime Inc. Trucking. After being there for 4 years, myself, 2 years, Melissa. These are in no particular order, but here's some of the reasons. Number one, and this is probably going to be the biggest for most people, is you can't get home. They could never seem to get us home in a reasonable amount of time. Now, what I mean by that is, hey, if I don't have to be home for a reason and I say, you know what, I'm going to, home time's the 5th. Get me home 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever.
Right, there's no appointments.
No appointment.
Special.
But when I tell you, I have a 2 o'clock appointment on the 5th, I can't miss. I need to be home by then, so can we get me home on the 4th to be safe? And now you're going to, oh yeah, no problem. Then, you know, and now we don't get home till the 6th or 7th. Or they want you to deadhead, you know, 1,000 miles on your own dime. Now, it wasn't quite dramatic as that, except the last time was really bad.
Yeah.
But there was rarely a time that we'd ask for home time that we'd actually get home on time without having to do a big deadhead or some nonsense. Always asking, well, can you just stay out one more day? You know, we can do it better, blah, 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 blah. Which sometimes it doesn't matter, but when I give you a specific day and time I need to be home by, you got to get me home. I'm out for 2 months straight, and then you're going to tell me I can't get home? No, that ain't going to work.
Time and day,
yeah.
Because it's important. Yeah.
The kind of the nail in the coffin was a super important home time thing we had to do, and the way they handled it was not right. Now I can't blame that 100% on my fleet manager, as he went on vacation. Night dispatch, weekend dispatch, the fill-in dispatch, none of them gave a shit, so they didn't even get me close to home on time. So that was a biggie.
Yeah, we were supposed to be home the day before on that day, and we ended up in the Houston yard
the day after.
The day after.
Yeah.
And that's what broke me down.
Yeah. So that was a biggie. Another one of the things is, now Prime is a training company, so you got to understand you're going to be treated like a student. Okay, they treat you like a noob forever. I know a guy that's been there over 10 years and they still treat him like he just got a CDL. I know another guy who's been there for 6 years. Nope, might as well have just got your CDL yesterday. Myself treated you just like you got your CDL. So now that wasn't a deal breaker, that was just annoying. A lot of hand holding. Yeah. Not even the hand holding, it was just the hand holding, but it was just the kind of attitude, like almost like you're dumb or something and you just don't know. Oh, make sure you lock your door. You know. Oh, do you have a lock on your trailer? Every time they start doing that, every time you call in. What's the weight on your trailer? Does it matter? I mean, it's my ticket. Yeah, it will mess up everyone's CSA score, but you know, I've been doing this long enough where I can weigh my truck. So there was, you know, there's that. Another big one for me. This started like a year or so ago. We were in Florida. We were trying to get a load out of there, and they kept giving me these cheap ass paying garbage loads when, I mean, abnormally bad. Little local beer runs and stuff, and I you know, call my fleet manager and I say, hey, when I talked to them about turning down the last load they're giving me, I said, hey, why don't you try to get me a load like that last California load I had out of here? Actually, I messaged them that. All of a sudden I get a dispatch, not a proposed load, a dispatch picking up orange juice going to Tracy, California. lots of miles for like 95 cents a mile. Garbage paying load. Horrible paying load. I'm like, what? No, I don't want that. Well, you're stuck with that. I said, no, you know what? Take me off the load. Just put my PTA till the next day then. You don't want to get me a load today? He called me up. No, you're on that load. You asked for that load, he tells me. You said you wanted to go to California. I got you a load going to California. Sir, in what world is asking, get me a load like that last load to California says, get me a load to California? So I got stuck on that load. And that wasn't the first time this happened where I questioned him or whatever, and he would go ahead and just change things on me. So I ended up doing that load. So that kind of sucked. But then after that, I don't know, 6 months ago or so, we're sitting over in Colorado, dispatched on a load going to Florida, decent paying load out of the meat patch. And I forget why, but either I called him or he called me for some reason, and he starts asking about, no, he must have called me because he called asking about a reload out of Florida. Flour load. I told him, no, man, we don't do flour loads. What do you mean you don't do flour loads? Well, we don't do flour loads. I know we don't handle touch freight anymore on the flour loads, but still, last time I was offered one, it had like 350,000 drops. They were all in little neighborhood flour shops and things like that. I need to sleep, and if she's running these loads, I'm not going to get any sleep while she's bouncing around these little towns trying to get this truck unloaded. So no, I don't do them. Well, then don't go to Florida if you don't want to do them. Wait, what? Yeah, if you're not going to do a flour load, then you can't go to Florida. He actually took me off because I wouldn't give in. He said, then you want me to take you off this load you have now? I guess. So took me off the good paying meat load going to Florida, and we ended up dicking around and finally getting something. That right there was that before the home time incident? I think that was
after.
That was after, because one of the two was finally the final straw.
I think that was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Because his I don't know if he was getting pushed by the higher ups or what. But
well, we're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
So real quickly, when I finally quit and was 2 days from leaving Prime, he calls me and says, "Hey, the higher ups want to know why you're exactly why you're leaving." I went ahead and told them because of night dispatch and your home time, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, and you forced dispatching me. But he played it off like he didn't know what I was talking about, and if that not saying that it didn't happen, but if it did happen, that he must have been getting pressured from up above to pressure us. Well, that's not the way you should treat anybody. If you're being pressured, you need to pressure back. Like I pressured back on you and told you no, you should have told them no. You would have kept the team right here. We'd have never went anywhere.
Yep.
Because all of this other stuff, they're little things that we could have kept living with. Another thing is the constant bitching all of a sudden from dispatch. And what I mean is about the Florida, oh, if you don't do this, we're going to have a meeting with operations. And
there was a lot of nitpicking.
So on and so forth.
A lot of nitpicking.
It's like, where the hell is all this coming from all of a sudden? And then we were getting these loads that were delivering at like 10, 11, midnight at night over in Columbus area. And there's not much parking over there, and reloading isn't that great at that time of night. So I tell night dispatch, hey man, once we drop this, I'm going to just go, I'm going to reserve a truck stop, put our PTA out for 6 in the morning. Okay, no problem. I did that twice, and after doing that the second time, I get a nasty phone call from my fleet manager. You can't do this. I'm getting screamed at, blah, 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 blah. If when you do this, that screws up sales because they're planning on, they figure your truck's there, they can plan on you picking up a load, and then all of a sudden you're pushing your PTA out. Number one, mother. I'm getting pissed now just thinking about that bullshit. Number one, I thought I'm fucking lease. Okay, don't cuss. Cut that out. Number one, I'm supposed to be leased and be able to do what I'm supposed to do, right? As long as I make my truck payment and move loads on time. So why are you telling me I can't constantly? I can't, you can't, you can't. So, okay, fine. I won't do that. We'll sit on the side of a road at night waiting for dispatches because we have nowhere to park. Thank you very much. So we dealt with that and I let it go. Said, okay, whatever. We won't push our PTA out when we, need to find somewhere to park. You have anything to add to that? Then you got
also that home time they messed up. This is a couple years ago, but your sister's wedding.
Yes.
Yeah, that was an important date, and they screwed that up.
Yeah. I was going to go to Florida for my sister's wedding. They ended up doing right by us on that. They deadheaded us there, and he paid us to do it.
But they tried to give us a load.
That's right. He first tried to give us a load that was going to get us there late
to her wedding.
And I was doing it. I was like, what do I? But she flipped the freak out and told me, hell no, you call him back up. Because, I'm a yes man. I'll do whatever you want me to do.
His sister's wedding.
Yeah, and they're screwing that up. So, yeah, I forgot about that.
I didn't.
Then the other thing is if you've been at Prime any amount of time, you know this. And this isn't a reason for me to leave, but it's a reason that bothers me, is Prime cares more about their students than about their drivers, their veteran drivers, or their drivers in general. I say they care about their students, number one. They care about their trainers, number two. Prime will let trainers get away with things that nobody can get away with.
Yep.
As long as you're willing to train, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
They'll turn their cheek.
Yeah. So that's always on the back of my mind where, they're saying, this is BS, man. They're treating me like this, but yet, yeah.
Yeah, because they lost a good team. They lost a team.
They're losing. They're late.
That was always,
always on time. For the most part, took every load out there. Yeah. Except the ones that would get us, that were just obviously such bad pain we were going to lose money. Now, if there was reasons, hey, at this load you're going to take it to pounce on, but the reload is good, we did it. Now, come winter time, we would be a little more choosy about weather locations. That's the other thing that was irritating is night dispatch, weekend dispatch, or the covering guys and the asshole in driver's line up there all want to belittle me and tell me that I'm not a real driver because I don't want to chain up.
I remember that.
On you, Mr. Asshole from driver's lineup. And I'm not talking about Eric from driver's lineup. I'm talking about the actual guy running and driver. Chris, I think. He is an ex-truck driver, but yeah, he is a real asshole. Needs to be fired. Needs a customer service seminar or something. But then the fill-in dispatch wants to call me. Oh yeah, your fleet manager says you're difficult. Just bullshit like that.
I was going to ask you if you were going to touch on that.
Number one, if my fleet manager thinks I'm difficult, that you keep to yourselves. Or no, that you're on a difficult list, which my fleet manager says there's no such thing. And then also, you don't tell your drivers that you're being sales is punishing you because you didn't take what they thought was a good load. Okay, whether they are or not.
What kind of shit is that?
You don't tell a driver that because that right there makes you go, yeah, I'm quitting this company. Because once again, I'm lease. I get to go where I want to go. If I want to stay and not make any money, that's on me, not you. If I pay that truck payment and I don't make your loads late, that's all you should care about. Okay. You don't freaking tell me that. No, you're going to be punished if you don't take this load. Literally
punished.
You're being punished. This crappy load is all you're going to get
you sit around
because
for 2 days
you didn't take that load yesterday that we thought was a good load. Yeah.
And they do it. They do that because don't you remember when we took that class? They said there was drivers out there who turned down 2-3 in a row.
Yeah, if you turn my fleet manager, if you turn down a couple loads that I think's good, you're going to get put to the back of the list.
Yeah, you're going to be sitting there for a while.
Which, okay, that's fine if you turn down a few loads out, whatever.
But still, what is this, kindergarten?
Yeah. The other thing is I felt like we were capped off as far as making money here and as far as advancement. If you've been at Prime for any amount of time, you'll notice that if you start getting to a certain amount of money, most of the time, damn, I got the hiccups. Okay, if you get to a certain amount of money, a lot of times you'll notice the load revenue just falls off. Not always, but it feels that way. Also, the next level I could have taken my career at Prime, which is what I was planning on doing after I did a lease purchase, was looking at going on the logistics side, getting my own authority, run under my own authority, pulling their freight power only. Well, they changed it up and made it so unfavorable for you to do that, that for me to take on all that new expense of insurances and authorities and all that, I would only make 5% more.
Yeah,
you went from
crazy.
72% to 78%. It used to be 90% of the line haul. So yeah, ixnayed on that idea. The other thing, this is another thing that eventually will make you want to leave, is dispatch has no authority over anything other than pissing you off. What I mean by that is because, as you can tell, my fleet manager used to like to do things to me to piss me off. But in the grand scheme of things, they have no authority for anything. Hey, let me get with sales. I got to get with sales. Everything is all about getting with sales. What a fleet manager is for, I guess he is to, I don't know what they're supposed to do, because they have no authority to do anything. So that gets annoying because sales doesn't answer right away. They can be a pain in the neck to wait for them. Okay, yeah, and then also another thing that I noticed, and I feel not everybody's going to agree with me on this, but I think Melissa will agree with me. After we came back from lease purchase and got the truck, I feel that we were not being treated the same.
Yeah, and it's not just us. We've heard through the grapevine about other drivers that are getting the same treatment.
Let me give you an example, a couple examples that I can think of. Is that blue light you see on right there? That light was behind that curtain, and what that is, that's the monitor for the APU. I take the truck for the first load, and my APU keeps not APU for the inverter. The inverter keeps randomly shutting off. It's like, what the hell? So we come back into Prime a week or two later, and that's something I got to get looked at, because we're going to be doing some home time, and we can't have all our food spoiled because the thing's shutting off randomly. So we take it into the shop, and the guy, after searching and asking, and because he couldn't find anything wrong, somebody within the Prime network there knew that was an issue with these heavier curtains. So he goes, oh, and he checked, and he goes, yeah, he wiggled the curtains, and boom, they put a button on it, and it would shut it off. So he says, oh, we can just move it. I said, okay, great. And I said, yeah, can you just move it there? He goes, yeah, fine. So he moves it. Everything's cool, all good to go. At the end of the week, I get a bill for $58 or something like that for moving that. Now, a lot of you, well, it's just $58. Well, guys, throughout my time at Prime, 99% of the time my truck went in for warranty work I was charged for, and I had to fight to get the money taken back off or credited. So I watch my bills like a hawk, because that would have been something that would have easily slipped through. So I looked at it and I thought to myself, well, you know what? It wasn't a defective part that's not warranted. The truck's brand new. I just got it. They put it in a spot that it doesn't work. So I call and I talk to the shop, and he's like, yeah, I see that they did this, and no, it wasn't the shop first. Who did I call? I called, I think, just the shop number and the person who answered, and I talked to them, and I told them what was up, and they said, oh yeah, your lease purchase, yeah, there's no warranty on that. It wasn't defective. You wanted them to move it. Yeah, it needed to be moved because, after arguing with them, I went to a higher up, went to the manager, And I talked to him. I called back and I said what was going on. I'm saying, hey man, I had a curtain shutting off my inverter. I just got the truck and it was shutting the inverter off because the curtain's hitting it, because the curtain's so thick and where they put it. So the guy moved it so the curtain doesn't hit it. And it's great, it works fine now, but I was charged X amount of dollars. I go, wouldn't that be under warranty since you guys installed that piece in a spot that it didn't work? He goes, oh yeah, absolutely. He goes, yeah, I don't know why they did that. Let me fix it for you. Oh, what's your truck number? My truck number, and I give it to him, and he goes, oh, your lease purchase. So what? You know, because I always would call myself lease. Yeah, I got to, lease. Well, he ended up, well, we'll go ahead and take care of it because, yeah, technically, it wasn't put in a spot where it works, but, shut the hell up with the lease purchase thing. Lease purchase should not be treated any different than a lease guy, okay? The only difference is you're buying the truck at the end of the lease. Oh, is that what the problem is? We're not going to get that truck back, so it almost makes me feel like they're trying to irritate you because they don't care if you stay because they'll get their truck back after you paid that big down payment. Not that that's true or I have any evidence of that. I'm just irritated with all that. I already talked about the Florida load, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's about all I can think about right now. Can you think of anything, Melissa? I don't want to make this video too long.
No, I can't think of anything.
But anyways, I also have a video going to come out, things I don't like about Prime.
Things you like about Prime.
And then I might do one that things I like about Prime.
Oh, this was why we left Prime.
This is why we left Prime. This is the absolute why. All these things added up into us leaving Prime. And if you guys watch my older videos, this one here was adamant about never leaving Prime. Ever leaving Prime. And I'll tell you what, I never thought I'd leave Prime either.
They pushed
when I actually gave my notice to leave, all my fleet manager would have had to have done was to call me and say, hey, you know what, how can we fix this? We don't want to lose you guys.
And he didn't.
No, he was just like, whatever.
They're such a big company, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, because they got 100 people to take your seat. And do they really care if the loads get there on time as long as they're getting that training money, right? They'll come up with a reason why it's not, why it didn't get delivered on time. But yeah, so I mean, I was waiting for my fleet manager to give me an excuse to stay. Anything. He could have done so little to make me stay.
And that's what's so funny is that so many companies are willing to go out that extra mile to say, hey, what can we do to make you stay? We appreciate what you're doing. You're a good team, blah blah blah. But no one said anything. It's like you're indispensable.
Yeah, it was almost like maybe I was a pain in the ass. It was almost like he was glad to get rid of us. It was. And I'll tell you what, there's 2 people at Prime that have been consistently awesome people, consistently. From when I was company with Haley over in leasing to when I did my lease purchase. That lady there has been nothing but fabulous. Yeah. The other person is my payroll lady once I got into lease. Oh,
yeah. She's great.
For the last 3 years. Angela,
she was sad to see us go.
She was trying to keep us more than the fleet manager.
She even reached out to the fleet manager, and I don't know
what
happened.
I mean, she
was sad to see
She
us
has
go.
saved me more times than you can think. As a matter of fact, this Deer Guard nonsense I'm going through right now, I bet you she'll help me out on that if I need it. But
Oh, yeah. You mentioned that, or is that another video?
No, that's not a reason why we're leaving Prime.
No,
that's going to just be a video all on its own, guys.
Yeah.
You guys need to wait for my Deer Guard video and the bullshit Prime's telling me about that. Once you leave there, they really don't even want your name anymore. They don't even want to
deal with you.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, even though they still have to deal with me because I'm paying the truck payments and I'm supposed to be doing stuff, they still won't return your calls and or deal with that part of it.
Nope.